Hey folks, we're live back with the Dev Twitch stream. My name is Nick Taylor. I am a lead software engineer at Forum. Forum is the software that powers Dev.
And I am the open source community manager, Christina Gorton, and we are here for a pair programming today with Seth Hall. Seth, tell us about yourself.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on the stream. First of all, this is really fun. Looking forward to it. Well, what do they say? I'm a long time watcher, first time participator. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm a front end developer. I'm based out of North Carolina. I am currently looking for a job, available to discuss any opportunities. But while I'm looking for work, I am on the core team building a project called Protege.dev. Protege.dev is currently a job board for junior developers, but we have a lot of ideas about building it as a platform, and we're currently building it as a platform. And our big kind of overall goals are to, advocate for early career developers. We want to put tooling into place where we can kind of maybe avoid discrimination. And so the way we're kind of approaching that is we're exploring how do we hide information in a way that allows people to make a unbiased kind of first impression. We also have goals to like educate and educate companies on the value of early career developers, and then how to like support their growth once they're hired. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell right now.
I just want to
that's
say, I think at some point we should have you on for a walkthrough Wednesday to talk about because that
Yeah.
sounds awesome
Oh, for
and
sure. Yeah.
definitely needed. So,
yeah,
That's what,
yeah.
yeah, Drew, you get some of y'all might know Drew, Drew Clements. He is the kind of lead on it, the founder. Nick's helping us out and kind of advising us. And yeah, I'm really happy to be on the core team building it. And I really believe in what our mission is, and kind of, especially because I'm out here looking for a job too, right? So it's like I see a lot of the pain points, and so I'm
yeah,
excited to build for it and see what we can do with it.
awesome. Yeah,
Cool,
I recently this year during the pandemic went through another, job search, so I totally understand that pain.
Yes, it's real.
yeah, and I have no doubt it's even tougher during a pandemic. You know,
Mm,
don't want to
yeah.
candy coat anything, but yes, hire
Well,
Seth,
well, we
folks.
could have a whole stream on that, right? We could combine Protege with the whole like all the stuff that goes on in that side of things.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, for
yeah.
sure, for
We could
sure.
have a whole panel with a lot of people in tech who have got
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
world's
No,
largest
we can.
stream.
Yeah, exactly. See how many people you can put on Discord before it explodes. Um, cool, cool. All right. Well, thanks for all that infos. And yeah, as Seth mentioned, he is looking for work, so definitely hit him up. We're gonna drop links to all the places you can find him online during the stream and at the end. And like Christina said, we're doing a pairing stream today. So on the dev stream, we usually have a walkthrough Wednesday, which is we have a guest in the tech space, and then the following week we do a pairing. So today is the pairing day, so let's do it. Um, we're gonna be. I'm gonna get Seth to, if you don't mind, just sharing your screen there, Seth. Um, we're just gonna pull up the GitHub issue that we're gonna be working on today. And
Hmm.
let me make this pop up here. Okay, cool. So we're going to be working on a front end issue, and I know you've read through this, Seth. I took a peek at this the other day, so I'm somewhat familiar with the issue. Maybe kind of just give us a rundown of what you think we need to do in this issue, and then we'll take it from there and see how far we get. And before we
That
do
sounds
that,
good.
I'm just going to mention one thing. I should have said it before, but the goal of these pairing streams, it really isn't to finish these issues. If we do finish an issue in a pairing stream, that's amazing, but it's really not the goal. The entire goal of this is to a few things. Get people involved with open source. Depending on people's familiarity with open source, it can be intimidating. GitHub, just the whole process of putting your code out for the whole planet to see. Other things are getting you familiar with the forum code base, which is what powers dev, like I mentioned before. And also, it's kind of like a real world scenario. This is like, we're 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 gonna work on something that, like if somebody wasn't pairing with us on the stream with this, somebody on my team would be doing this. So, trying to make this as real a scenario as possible. And the last thing is just have fun. So cool.
Oh,
Yeah, so
definitely.
so if you just want to go through here and we can see what we got we're dealing with today.
Sure, sure. So
One
this
one
issue,
more thing.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
Seth, just to interrupt you. Can you just plus a couple times to make the size a little bit bigger
Oh
on
yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
sure.
text there?
thanks.
How's that? I think any more I might be off screen.
Yeah, that was good. That was
uh
good.
Okay.
yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Okay, so this issue was created by Lisa Tsai, I believe
Yeah,
is how
that's
you
how you.
say it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I'll just kind of read the issue. So this is a bug that was filed, and so the issue says today when someone in the editor slash new, which is a new post, drags and drops an image to upload it, they have no indication that it is currently uploading because there's no spinning indicator. This UX bug sets incorrect expectations on how our product works, and reproducing it's fairly easy. I've already basically done it over here, but there's a GIF here that really you just drag an image and it does upload, but there's no user feedback. So the
Okay.
user's
Yeah.
thinking, oh, did it not drop in? Like they're the classic user stuff, or you think something's wrong when you don't see feedback. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the expected behavior was posted, and I'll just kind of bring up this image here, but it's, we've got a new post. We drag it to have this blue highlight on the component, the editor component, and then hopefully we'll show like an uploading icon. That's one way to do it, and then it'll upload as you can
Mhm.
see here.
Yeah.
And then uh, the easiest solution here would be to render the same loading indicator when people upload an image from the upload image button. So that's the issue we're working on today.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
By the way, we have drag and drop, everyone, if you didn't know. That is like a
yeah.
feature that I think some people didn't know about. We put it in changelog at some point. You can upload images from the little button that says you can upload, or you can just drag and drop images now too. But like Seth said here, there's no indication, and I know I've done it a couple times, and I've been like, "Wait, is this working?" I don't know if it's working,
Exactly.
and it works. So this is a great thing to help users
Yeah.
know
And
what
there's
they're doing.
Yeah.
one other thing too, and it doesn't put a kink in this at all, but you can also paste an image like you do on GitHub.
Hmm.
That is new functionality that I think it came out about a month ago from frequent contributor Andrew Bone. I'm trying to remember his handle, but
I
yeah.
can get it.
I'm only bringing it up because whether you drag and drop or paste it, we still want the spinner to show up in both cases. I have a
Got
feeling
it.
that the code that does the uploading is centralized, so regardless of how we do it, I think we can still have the spinner kind of set up in one place. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, that was some
okay.
of the questions I had. Like the initial question that came to mind was like, does this pattern or component already exist in the code base? And we know that it does. And then I would ask, do we want to take the same approach, or is there a better way to handle it? And my default would be what Lisa said, which is take the same approach.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about that? Is that how you want to handle it,
Uh,
or is there
I,
another way to do it?
No, I would probably want to have the same behavior, and there is a spinner. It's a Preact component. I know it's there because I created it.
Hmm.
So we're gonna want to use that same spinner component. Like if you go to your second tab for a second, we can just show this in action how it works on the cover image. So if you just we
Yeah.
can drop in that test image. If you just drop it into the upper area where the add cover image button is, you should see
Uh
it
huh.
light up blue. And if you let go, you see how it did it
Oh yeah.
quickly because your
Yep.
internet's pretty quick, but it changed to the spinner with some text that said uploading. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep. And then if we
actually,
do down here,
Yeah,
we're missing that. So yeah.
exactly. And uh, one thing we can kind of tie into a bit of like just for folks who might not be as familiar with the dev tools, but we can actually, if you open up your dev tools for a second,
Okay.
we're gonna simulate a slower speed so we can actually see the spinner in action. So for
Yep.
those who are new to developer tools in the browser, or maybe you're familiar with them but don't know how everything works in there, the network panel, and this is in Firefox or Chrome or any Chromium based. Safari, I'm not sure as well because I know their developer tools aren't as mature, but um, you see how you, okay, yeah, so I think Seth has it set already. So under the, yeah, it's in the network
The
panel. There's an option
network.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And so,
throttling.
yeah, exactly. So we can do slow 3G, and let's drag and drop that image again. And I'm only bringing
Okay.
this up because this is actually something very handy for you if you ever have a bug and maybe it's related to network conditions, you can actually simulate the network conditions to perhaps see a bug happen. In our case, we just want to see it so we can do the drag and drop. So if we drop it now, it
Yeah.
should act a little slower, and you see, yeah, we get a few
Mm-hmm.
seconds and we see it uploading. So we're looking pretty much for that same chunk of markup, which is probably in a component. Um,
Yep.
so
You
yeah,
want to go look
I
for that here?
yeah. Well, we can do it one way. The way I normally look for these things is if you're in the browser, um,
Okay.
I, and if you're not familiar with the page you're on, you can. I usually will inspect it, or like for example, it says new post title here. In the That's the
Mm-hmm.
placeholder text. We could just look in the
Mm-hmm.
code base for new post title here, and I have a feeling it'll just show probably the form that is the editor. Um, it might be case
Yep.
sensitive. Yeah,
Let
if
me
you have to
yeah,
do.
that's yeah, case sensitive. Yeah.
Okay, so we see it showing up in one place. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So we can see here we're in a form. This is
Mm-hmm.
for those not familiar with Ruby. Also, just to clarify, the the forum code base is a Ruby on Rails application. So it's primarily Rails, so the Ruby language. And what we're looking at right now is called an herb file, which is it's a Ruby template file, and it's usually what you use to render your views in like a modal view uh, controller architecture. So we
Mm-hmm.
can see we found the thing here. Um, I feel
Yeah,
like,
so I would scroll up because obviously it's
yeah,
above it, right?
yeah. The thing is, I know that the form for the editor, which is what we're in, it it
Mm-hmm.
does get rendered as from the server side, so with this template, but I know a Preact component takes over after. So
Mm-hmm.
I could have maybe the placeholder text is only in that
Let me search for
template.
uploading.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I see article cover image. So already that sounds good. Um, because that's
Yep.
probably the component up top there where we did the drag and drop. We can take a peek in there.
Yeah, right here, image uploader, JSX.
Okay, yeah. So we're in a good place already. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's take a peek in here. Okay. So yeah, so we're in a
Yeah,
Preact
so
component
this,
image.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Here we go. It's probably this right here.
There is a spinner.
Okay.
Yep. What's crayons, Nick?
Yeah. So I can
Good
explain
question.
that. Yeah. So our design system is nicknamed Crayons. Um, there's a there's a storybook which we use. So I actually gave a talk about storybook last week that I can link to. But if you want to go back to your browser for a second there, Seth, if you just go in a new tab, you can go to storybook.forum.com, FOREM. So this is where we have our design system components. We haven't, it's still being built out. So this is,
Hmm.
it's not complete, but there's a bunch of stuff in here. And I can see on the left there, there's the spinner already. So if you click on that, so you can
Yep.
see this
Okay.
is,
There it is right there.
yeah, so we can see it in action there. So this is where we build out all our stuff. The themes, the themes work locally. There's something wrong with the deployment. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
It's not loading the style sheet, but that's another thing.
Well,
But
that's why I'm
anyways,
here, man. I'm
this
here to
is
like, I'm here to show the, the holes and the gaps,
yeah, 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 yeah. Show everything I've done wrong, Seth, please.
Yeah.
um,
I got a
anyways, this is
spreadsheet,
just
so
to say.
I'll tweet
Yep.
Oh no, spreadsheet, man, that's a lot of things.
Send
I
it
thought you were gonna say
directly
like
to
one or two
his
things.
manager.
it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry, Molly. Um, yeah, so anyways, this is I'm only bringing this up because you were asking about crayons. So this is where we build out all our components. There's also some documentation explaining what crayons is and like some of the philosophies behind the design system and all that. So if
Hmm.
you're ever working in the project, you come in here and you're if you're working on front end stuff, you'll typically build out components in here.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
we
this
have
is
the
super
image
helpful
upload.
because, yeah, it's super helpful to have Storybook to reference. And well, what you're saying though, if we were building a brand new spinner component, we would integrate into the whole Storybook first flow and get the component in here first, correct?
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, these are for building kind of like the foundational pieces. Like, we have like if you go, for example, to like to the buttons and the components there on the left. Uh, yeah, if you just click on buttons there, if you click on the knobs tab on the bottom there, the panel,
Hmm.
you see how it says variant. You can change it to different views, and you'll see it shows you the button in different states. So
Yep, that's great.
the
Hmm.
definitely the building blocks are in here, but there are some application components. Like there's a section down below called app components there, and you can see some of the components in there. So like for example, if you clicked on snack bar, for example,
Yep.
so snack bar is if you click on it, this is when like say you submit something, you'll get a little notification. I thought
Hmm.
our product designer Pavel had made up that name, but apparently it comes from material design from Google. I didn't know
Yep.
that until last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So because I kept saying like,
Well,
what do you
it
mean a
looks like a
snack
it looks like
bar?
a toast. So maybe the snack bar is serving toast, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Um,
Toast.
so
Cool.
yeah,
So
so in
that's
some
so
cases
we
we'll
know that
yeah,
we're looking for the spinner.
yeah. Yeah, and so if you go
Okay.
back to the code, so other things to note here, this is a Webpack related thing, but it says at Crayons, and normally when you do stuff like import, like the first import there, and actually I'll get you to zoom in your browser a little bit if you just press Command plus twice, just to give folks a better view. And if you press
There you go.
Command B, yeah, you can hide the site. Perfect. So like normally when you're importing an npm package like Preact, for example, or Preact hooks, it's not coming from a folder like the third import there, like dot dot slash actions. But for
Hmm.
the crayons import, it just says at crayons, and it's not an npm package. It's a folder in our project, but it's using something called the Webpack alias. So Webpack alias is something, if you press Command P and look for environment, okay, yeah, you're already in it. This is, okay, the JS config is not for Webpack, that's for VS Code, but it's the same idea. But if you go
Got it. Got
to
it.
environment.js, for example, that file, pretty sure it's environment.js. Uh, we're using Webpack in the project, but it's integrated with Ruby on Rails through a Ruby gem called Webpacker.
Hmm.
So, okay, maybe it's not environment.js or, oh, it's because you're connecting to my computer. That's why. Maybe it's just delayed. But
Yeah.
anyways, it's
A little bit delayed. But yeah.
it's an alias, which is why at Crayons is saying it's actually the folder app JavaScript Crayons. Now, why would you want to do something like that? Think about times where you've been in a code base and say you're like 5 levels deep and you need to get back to the crayons folder. You don't want to do dot dot slash dot dot slash like a million times, because if you're refactoring things too
Yeah.
and you drag things around, it's the reference is going to be incorrect. So by
Yep.
using the alias, it doesn't matter where it is, it just always knows where to get it from. And
It's
that's
like a
that's
relative path,
specific.
basically.
Well, it's even more than a relative path. It knows how to get the full path regardless of wherever you are in the application code base. Um, it is specific to Webpack. I honestly don't know if other bundlers like Parcel or Rollup do this. I feel like they probably would, but I honestly don't know. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so yeah, so that's what Crayons is. That was our whirlwind tour of the design system briefly and all that.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, so we're in the image uploader. So um, maybe take a peek to see where the image uploader is referenced. So if
Sure.
you
Yep. I'm just
did a
gonna kind
search
of
for that.
go here. Let's just see. Well, first we'll see. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the uploading text we saw, right? And there's the spinner we saw in Crayon's storybook. And so now you want me to go look for this component in other files, is that right? This image uploader
Yeah.
component?
Yeah, let's kind of understand the whole flow of how it works before we get into the fix, I think. So,
Okay.
okay, so the
So it
image
looks like
uploader.
I don't see it in other files, which is interesting. Maybe it's another component in here. Is there another component for some reason?
Let's take a peek here. There's what's a okay, that's okay, so this is the components using hooks here. Yeah, that seems pretty isolated. Maybe look for put a less than image uploader. I feel like the search in VS Code, maybe there's a setting or something that's not finding it. Because
Less
you should
than?
have okay, there's an image uploader. Oh no, that's the test. Oh, interesting. I wonder if maybe the code's been refactored and we have some dead code.
Well,
Um,
maybe, yeah,
You got to mark that one down too, Seth.
maybe it's, yeah, the spreadsheet's getting bigger.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
it's maybe it's hard coded for some reason and it's not using the component. So let's find the file let's find this file here. And we had that,
Yeah,
right? What was that called again?
the oh that was the herb template. It's it was
Yeah, so it's
underscore
form.
v2.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit slow. Obviously, it's not usually like this because I'm connected to your
Yeah, we
thing.
can.
So, maybe you can help me navigate in the actual code base where it would be.
Yeah, well, I think we're in the right place already, because if you look at the top of your VS Code, you can see it's under forum app JavaScript article form. So
Hmm.
article form is the entire editor, or it should be. And so we can take a peek in there. There's got to be, I see if you look at the bottom left of your VS Code, there's an article form.jsx file. Let's take a peek in there. And let's scroll down in there and see. I don't know why the image uploader isn't in there, but
Yeah, I
let's
don't
take a
see
peek
image
here.
uploader imported. Another thing we do is search for spinner, and we can see. I'm not sure we can trust this search because of how we're connecting, but it's only in the image uploader file, so that would tell me it's not hard coded somewhere.
Yeah. Well, if you want, you can guide me through on my connection. I can share my screen because maybe the search results are delayed because of the VS Code live share.
Hmm.
If you
Maybe
want to
so.
do that,
Yeah,
so
we can do that.
I'll let you drive still, but
Yep.
I'll just share my screen instead so that so I'm just gonna
Okay.
stop
No,
sharing
no
your screen
problem.
for a sec,
Hmm.
and I will share my screen. Share go. Okay, hold on a sec here. Okay. So everybody should be able to see that now. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna close a few things so we can have some more real estate here. And I'll just zoom in one more time. Okay, so we don't need this file. This is something I was working on. Okay, so we're looking for image uploader, right?
Yep. We should see an import, at least one.
Yeah, I have a few. Okay, yeah, so we're already getting
Yeah,
more
there we go.
results. So I guess maybe there was a delay with the search through live share. Okay, so
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
not that uh, it's not the test because that's just for testing the component. Okay, I don't think because we're in pre-act land now, we don't need the Ruby files. So I'm just gonna
hmm
exclude the .rb files just to give us a cleaner look here. We don't need a
hmm
test file either. Well, let me just
It looks
go
like the
back.
toolbar. It looks like it must be the toolbar.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that, eh? Let's see here. Okay, toolbar. Okay, maybe this got refactored or something. Let's see. Okay, I see I forget what VS Code extension this is. I think it's Git history. But okay, so Pavel must have
Yep.
reworked this. Okay,
Yeah, so it's
V1.
probably the toolbar is probably imported into the form view,
Okay.
right?
Okay, so you want me to look for that then?
Yeah,
Okay.
now look for toolbar, yeah, and see where that's yeah, editor
All
body.
right.
That could be it actually.
Okay, cool. So, all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
looks
you're
like it's
right.
it.
This okay. So, in your VS Code, is your cursor following mine? Like if you type, are you in? You see me typing?
Yeah, I gotta find. Yep, there's editor body.
Okay.
So where are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Here.
Just looking for. Yeah, I
You
see
should
it.
be able to return.
We're good.
Okay.
Yep, and
Okay. Just
I'm
make
right
sure.
below you there.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Okay,
We'll chase each other.
cool.
Yeah. So I think we're definitely in the right place now. So this appears to. What we can do is because this is appearing all the time. I'm just wondering. Okay, this is the editor body.
hmm
Let's kind of see because I'm wondering
Yeah, so
why.
something's triggering. It looks like that the toolbar is there, but it's just not getting triggered when we drag the image.
Yeah.
So it
So
feels like the component's ready to go. It's just we have to do some logic to get it to fire.
yeah. So what we can do is we could actually put a breakpoint in and just see. I'm just gonna share my
hmm
whole screen so or actually yeah, because I want to have the dev tools as well. Give me 2 seconds here. Just gonna make sure I don't have any kind of inception stuff behind me. Let me close Safari. Okay, toolbar. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Just let me share my whole main screen for a sec.
hmm
And just so we can have both. All right, and I got Christina on the big screen. Okay, that's
Always.
happened several times. Yeah. Okay, so let's do
Hey.
screen. All right, I'm gonna share the main screen, and it's gonna probably do Inception, which is fine because I need to
Yep.
bring this to the front. Let me just make the screen big though. Always fun having some Inception. Okay, it should be okay now though. You just see the editor.
Yep.
hmm
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna open up a browser window too. So you should see Firefox.
hmm
Yep.
Okay, okay, let's go to localhost. Okay, I'm just gonna log in as myself for a sec here. And so we want to go to the post page and maybe we want to debug here. Or maybe, do you want to debug it through on your browser, Seth?
You mean in me and I screen share it?
Yeah, because then we could, because now that we know where we are, I think we're okay without the search in VS Code there.
Of course, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, cool. I'll just let me stop Inception here. Christina Big on the screen again. All right, cool. So yeah, so we know what we know it's the editor body.jsx, like we said. So in the dev tools
Mm-hmm.
here, if you come back to the
Yep.
browser, um, you can actually zoom in the dev tools too. If you just focus in the dev tools for a sec and then press Command plus a couple times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is we can go to the sources panel and we
Okay.
can if you do Command P, so it acts like VS Code or Sublime, you can do a file search. We want to look for that
Sure.
file. It was editor body. Now there's a couple in here. The one we want is with the question mark. This is the side note, but this is the source maps because the editor body, if you go to that one, it's going to show like the Webpack generated one, which we don't want. So this
Okay.
looks like the one we want to be in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so let's look where that spinner is because I'm kind of
Yeah,
curious.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
toolbar is getting imported here, and then the component is getting used here, and that's the only instance of toolbar in this file. And then
Okay.
we can search for toolbar, and we'll see that toolbar brings in the image uploader, right? And then
Yeah.
we can search for image uploader, and we'll then be back where we were, where we see our spinner in the crayons.
Okay.
So back in editor body, 76 is where the toolbar component is.
Okay. So you can, if you want, you can put a breakpoint. If you just click on line 72 there, or yeah, toolbar, we can refresh the
Hmm.
page, and it should
Refresh.
stop there. Yeah, and it should stop
All right.
there just to make sure we're in the right place. And I saw a link to 20s in the chat. That's Andrew Bone. That's the one. That's our awesome contributor that created the paste of an image in the body of the editor. So shout out to link to
Hmm.
20, aka Andrew Bone. Okay, so we're in
I shared
here.
his article too.
Oh, okay, awesome. Um, yeah, okay, so yeah, we're hitting the right place. We can see we're paused in the debugger and it's gonna render
Hmm.
it. So let's, I don't know if you have your F keys enabled to continue. You can press F8. It might be mapped to your, could be mapped to your sound or your play button, I think. If it
Yeah. Let
doesn't,
me
there's
see.
a, if not, you can click on there's a blue arrow with a little kind of straight blue. It's in the
Right here.
bottom left of the debugger. Yeah, you can just click play
Hmm.
and it'll
Yep.
continue. Okay, so we're in the right place. So it is rendering, it looks like it is rendering the image uploader, but the image uploader is not showing. So um, there's clearly some
Yeah.
state
It's
there to show or
yeah.
hide it, I think.
Exactly. Yep. I think so. I think so. So my next thought
So what?
would be like looking in this file and reading this file and figuring out how it's triggered in the other ways in the upload and in the well, we'll just say the upload button. So it's triggered. Well, it's triggered on a drag and drop on this section too, right? So let's double check that again. So we know
Yeah.
that when you drag it here, I don't know why it's not letting me do it, but debugger. Okay, when you drag it, okay,
Okay.
something must be happening with the debug. But
No, it's
so
good.
what I
It's
would
because
think
it
is, well, if go ahead, we have a little delay.
no, it's okay. No, I was gonna say it got stuck on the debugger because you have to let the page load because it hits that when it loads the page. Let the debugger run,
Oh,
and
now
then
do it.
now try it, and then it should re-render. I'm assuming when we drop it. Okay, see, so we're paused on the toolbar, which is
Hmm.
that the case? That's what it looks like.
It was, yeah,
So
but I hit continue.
oh, okay. So I think we might be stuck in a drag drop because the drop happened, but you moved the mouse back into the dev tool. So maybe it's just that. Um, But
Okay.
what we
Okay. Let
can,
me find the where was that debugger again? It was
if you just go to
We
remind
got
me.
sources.
a question, by the way.
Got it.
As we're going along, Andrew Bone asked, "How is the spinner getting into the image header section?"
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about as well, Andrew,
That's
because
the current question for us as well.
because I, I did I did the drag and drop a while ago, and I did put the spinner on the top thing, but I think it might have been refactored since I've done it. So I'm actually not sure where the spinner, like, because the spinner that's getting rendered here in the toolbar is in the body, which is the bottom part, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly like what Andrew's saying, like how is it getting popped up top. So but we know, so we know the toolbar renders every time that the editor is there. So
Mm-hmm.
we know that
Is
the image
the
upload. Sorry, go ahead, Christina.
is the toolbar image uploader, is that the upload button, or is it a different part? Is that the drag and drop?
I
Are they different things, or is it the upload button?
Yeah, well, from what I
Because that would make
remember
sense why
in
it has the spinner, because the spinners, and you see that once you're uploading with the upload button.
yeah, yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe it got yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, because well, let's go. We know that the toolbar is always there, so it's in the markup. It's just not visible, or the component isn't rendering the image uploader because of the state. So maybe we should take a peek in the toolbar file itself. And we can just stay in the
Yep.
browser for now. We can just kind of debug this out and just figure out what's going on. So if you go back to the
Sure.
sources tab in the dev tools, and yeah, we can go, yeah, so we're in the toolbar. Okay, so it's calling the image uploader. I'd say let's go into the image uploader directly because there's no state here. This is just a function component that's getting a prop, and uh, the version prop that it's passing in, that's because we have two editors, excuse me, in the
Yeah.
forum code
Sure.
base. So
Sure.
the 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 editor we're looking at right now, that's called the version 2 editor. We have a older editor, the V1 editor, which is
Mm-hmm.
strictly markdown. Like if you want to put like a cover image, for example, you have to actually type in the URL or you paste one in. And it's there still because we have a RSS import if somebody wants to like upload their article posts from their blog, for example, but they get loaded in the old editor. So that's what that version thing is. But and as far
Well,
as I know, the image uploader is really only for V2. So
Well, you
hmm.
you still have the upload image button in the V1, like the little button that says upload image. That's in the version 1 too.
oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because in the V1 it'll do the upload, but it will return you an URL that you can copy. Sorry, it'll return a chunk of markdown that you can copy and then paste into your like body of your text.
Yeah.
Obviously not as
Well,
ideal as like the V2 editor, but
I do see here in the image uploader JSX file, I do see the upload image with the little SVG. So we know that we're learning more about what the image uploader file is,
Yeah, that's
right?
nice.
So
yeah.
we've got this little component here is in the file.
Okay. Yeah.
Andrew mentioned it might be worth looking into the drag and drop hook. They seem to recall that handles the
Hmm.
upload.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And
And the
that
other thing,
is
yeah, that's
there. I see some
in
drag and drop helpers here. So it looks like maybe on drag over, possibly.
Yeah.
yeah, we could look at that. Or the other thing I noticed when you were in the other file there in the browser, if you go back to the browser for a
Okay.
sec,
Hmm.
uh, I can't remember if I did this or if it was somebody else, but it's using a use reducer hook. So you can see there it's an image uploader reducer. And
Hmm.
that explains how the state's being managed because the image uploader has nothing, like it's not receiving anything. It just says image uploader in the component. So you can see
Yep.
here,
Yep.
like uh, I
Yeah,
don't
the
know if you can
state's being
paste in.
handled right here.
Yeah, I don't know if you can paste it in the
Paste in what?
chat, Christina, but no, I'm just asking Christina for the use reducer hook. There's a pretty good explanation in the React docs. Maybe just paste that into the chat for folks. Um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, so that's how that's all being managed, and so that's why the image
Mhm.
uploader, you see, it doesn't receive any props. It's a stateful component. So,
Yep.
but
Yep.
we can
Right
look
here.
at what and yeah, but we can also look at what Andrew was saying in terms of the drag and drop. I think there's I think it's called use drag and drop, the hook. But let's go
Yeah, it's
back into the
drag
editor
and
and look.
drop helpers. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, there. So
And I can go in the editor
exactly.
too
So
if you'd like.
well, we can stay in here for now because we want to kind of figure out the whole flow of how that uploader is getting put in there, because from at least from what I remember before, it's like for the cover image at least, uh, from what I remember, I'm just, when the component renders, if it's in an uploading state, I was replacing it with the spinner, but I have a
Mhm.
feeling some things have been refactored. So I'm not sure how things are happening, because I'm kind of curious too, because we only found that one place with the spinner in the image uploader, and I still don't
Mhm.
understand how it's covering the cover image button too. So um,
Yeah,
yeah,
you were
so
still
there's
trying to figure
okay,
that
so
out.
yeah, okay, so this says handle image drop. So I think this is a good place to put a breakpoint potentially. Um,
Okay.
Not on line 18, but if we put it within the, I think maybe line 20 would be good, or somewhere in the function before it returns.
Mhm.
And let's try dragging the image again.
Okay. Let me get this breakpoint set up.
Yeah, the breakpoints are finicky in the debugger sometimes. It's like you'll be like, I want to put a breakpoint on this line, and it just doesn't let you. And I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's
that's what's
related to
happening right
source.
now.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, just leave it on the if, maybe line 22, or even there's fine. That's good.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
I'll just do it. I'll just add. There we go. Okay, so we got, well, I thought we had our
oh no,
breakpoint.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks like we have our
yeah.
breakpoint here, but it's not showing here for some reason, but it is here on the
Okay, because
right.
I don't see the white thing lit up. If you click line 22 again, like the number. Okay. Yeah, leave it there.
Yeah, and
That
if I
should be
add a
good.
breakpoint, yeah,
Oh
it's
no,
up
it's
here.
already
It's,
added.
it's
As soon as you click it, once you see the white piece there, that means the breakpoint's there. You don't need to say add breakpoint. Yeah,
okay.
so
I was expecting to
why?
see it blue like last time,
Oh yeah, I'm not sure why it's white. That's a good question. And it
but it
seems to be
looks like up
disappearing.
here it's we can confirm that it exists on the right panel.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. It could just be a glitch. Yeah. So let's try
So I'll
dragging
refresh
and
here.
dropping the image. Okay.
Oh, okay. No worries. I'll go
No,
ahead and do that.
no, you can refresh the page if you need to. It'll still keep the breakpoint.
Okay. All right, there it goes. It's
Yeah,
represented now with blue. Okay, so let's drag the image and let's see what we get. And we're dragging it into the body, right? Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so then it's gonna, I, if you step, I know you don't have your F keys enabled, so you can, there's the blue play button there, don't press it, but to the right of it, there's a arrow with a dot. That goes into a
Got it.
function if you want to, or digs in deeper, or the second arrow with the dot below and the arrow pointing up, if you click on that, it's just gonna step over. It's gonna keep going down. So if you click on that, interesting. Oh, maybe that. Did you click the play maybe by accident?
No, I'm hitting the step out of current function.
Yeah,
Um,
click that to step out,
yeah.
because this is kind of
Mm-hmm.
internal stuff we don't want to be in. Um, we can
Yep,
go
I'll just
back
keep.
to yeah, try stepping out of there. It should come out of here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep clicking until it gets where we need it to be.
Okay, so this is it looks like the image uploader, it's coming to this. This is a common function that I believe the paste image will use too. So what this
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
doing here is it's going to post the image upload. So we have an image that we're passing, and then we're gonna, in the response, we're gonna get it back. And it looks like there's a success callback there, the line 103.
Mm-hmm.
See if
Yep.
you can put a breakpoint there,
Okay.
and you can click the blue, sorry, not blue, click the, click the blue play button, and it should
Yep.
end up on the callback. Okay, so now let's
Mm-hmm.
see what we
Yep.
got there. Let's kind of just like let's take a peek in the tools here. So if you hover over links, you can see that's the file that was uploaded. So this is the link returned for the actual image,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
then what? And then I believe the image property is, this was what was in the input when you're doing a file upload. So like there's an input of type file. That's what the upload is using. And so this is the list of files that we were uploading. So there's
Yep.
only one because that's, we only allow for one. But okay, so the success callback. So we got our image upload. The success callback is going to run. So we want to maybe step into that to see what it's going to do. So if you go back to your arrows there to step into, not step over. Yeah, that one.
Yep. Step into.
Let's see
Yep.
what,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, click on that. Okay, so now
Okay.
we're in the callback, which was probably passed in as a parameter or a prop to say we want to handle the image because it was successful. What are we going to do with it now?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it looks like this is the code that is going to paste it into the editor. So like if we uh, if we, if we put a breakpoint on line 37 there in the file,
Yep.
and let's just click play. So click the blue play button. Okay, so we see
Yep.
it added it in. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so we've kind of seen how the upload is happening, and clearly there's no spinner. So we got to see
Mm-hmm.
what's up
Um,
with that now. Yep,
yeah, I
sorry,
just
go
want
Yeah.
ahead.
to
So it's.
mention if
Go
you
ahead.
want to compare at all, Andrew said that in the article cover image.jsx, that's where you see the spinner for the cover image if you need to compare at all, like
Yeah.
what's going on with the spinner.
Cool. So we can take a peek in there. You can press play to just let this run out.
Okay. I will in a second.
Before we, yeah, cool. Just so that the page won't be stuck after. Okay, cool. So
Got
yeah,
it.
if we go to the article cover image, it's like I don't remember any of this stuff. I did this like 2 months ago, and it's like completely emptied out of my head. This is why you
Yeah,
should
new
document
spinner.
things, folks. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
Learn from
okay,
our
so there's
mistakes.
okay, so let's see if we can find the
Oh, look,
spinner
they
here.
got
We
the
see it's
drag
being
and
imported.
drop zone utility in there.
Yeah.
That I
That's
remember
probably
writing.
like the blue. The blue.
Yeah, that's something you kind of want to add for the.
Yeah,
But it looks like right here on line 8, right? We got our own drag over.
yeah.
The drag and drop helpers. So.
Yeah. The thing is, I think we wanna see it once it's been dropped. So I don't think we want the drag over or the drag exit. I think what
Mm-hmm.
Christina was saying, like the drag and drop zones, so we can maybe see what's going on there. Because there's gonna be,
Got it.
like if we look in, like Andrew was saying, in this file, the spinner is referenced. So let's see when it becomes visible, the spinner.
There it is.
Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, on line 143, you see it there, Seth? So there's a
Mm-hmm.
it,
Yep.
it looks like there's a Boolean saying uploading image, and then that's when we
Mm-hmm.
show that. So we otherwise, if it isn't uploading, we show the button from what I can see here. So
That makes sense.
that
Yes.
yeah. So this almost makes me wonder, is that toolbar thing something like completely separate? Like or maybe
Yeah.
uh, like
Well, that's
I don't
probably it. It's maybe the toolbar is left over from something, and it because you would think that they would have the toolbar here, right? But no, there's the spinner directly.
Yeah, I wonder
Is
if,
the I'm still convinced the toolbar is the upload image button
yeah, I,
because it's in both of
I,
them. It's
can
in
we
both
try
versions.
something else? I think it might be, let's copy an image. So if you go, let's go to one of my favorite sites there that we were talking about before. If you go to http.cat in the browser, so for folks at home, this is a fun site for HTTP error codes. So let's
Mm-hmm.
right click on the image and we're gonna say copy image, not the URL, but the image itself. Let's go back to the
Mm-hmm.
editor because I'm wondering because I don't remember this toolbar thing at all, and I'm making a guess. Maybe it shows up when you paste. Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna paste it in
let's
real
try.
quick.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, let's remove the callback. Okay, so I feel like what is the toolbar
Yeah, so
used
it
for?
didn't show up actually. Um, when you
Okay,
pasted
I
it, I
feel like
could.
yeah. Okay, I'm really not sure what the toolbar is, but I was expecting kind of what we saw in the
Andrew
article
said what it
image.
is. If I think Andrew said toolbar takes the version and it appears on editor version 1.
Oh, okay, okay.
Got it.
See,
Yeah.
Andrew's worked. I think Andrew's worked in this more than me.
Yeah.
Even though I
Well, I
did the
did
drag
Really
and
like
drop.
confirm.
Andrew here at Forum. Andrew does a lot of contributing to our wonderful code base.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Andrew.
Well, I did
Okay,
confirm that the paste doesn't fire the uploader either. So it's almost like everything in the body itself doesn't do the uploader. If you were to
Mm-hmm.
drag it up here where it
yep,
says, it would fire it. So we can
It's all
confirm that
just in the
both the
cover image.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so we can
So
confirm that in the text area there's no firing of it.
yeah. So I have a feeling because I thought it was going to be something like in the article cover image. So where we say if it's uploading, show the spinner, otherwise show the button. So I think that's really what we need. And like Christina said, Andrew was mentioning in the chat, the the toolbar is really specific to the V1 editor. That's something I wasn't aware
Yep.
of. So TIL, Nick, there we go. Um, yeah. So also, this is just a good example of how amazing we have contributors popping stuff in the code base that
Exactly.
even core team members don't know about it.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so
So this is good. So
uh,
we really are just we're really just needing to figure out the uploading image
yeah, so
boolean basically. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the rest, I think we can just do this ternary where it's like uploading, show the spinner, otherwise this. Um, it's a good example too of like we've kind of gone through like the whole flow of thing. It appears that the
Hmm.
fix is pretty simple, but
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
we had to do a bit of investigation to figure it out. And this is the case
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like for folks who might be newer to the industry or you know a lot of it is really just figuring out what's going on and then you're like, oh, it's just that thing. And but it's like a
Yeah.
journey to
Yeah.
get there. So
For sure. I mean,
cool,
especially
cool.
when you
So
have multiple versions, of an
yeah.
editor. That makes it more complicated.
Yeah, and actually, since Andrew mentioned that, just for fun, let's go look at the toolbar component because it does take a version prop, and there must be
Mm-hmm.
something like if it's version 1, show it. Otherwise, ah, you see, yeah, I didn't
Yep.
see it
There it
before, but
is.
in the
Oh
class
yeah.
name, if it's version v1, we show it. So okay, so
Exactly.
there you
So
go.
we didn't read the code. We didn't read the code. That's on us.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But we had some good times.
Because
We
if
had
we
some
had
good
read it, we
chats
would have
there.
known. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this toolbar file because we don't need it for this.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we know all that, let's focus on the upload image button then. So
And
let's
we're
kind of
we're
see
going to be an
where,
editor body, right?
yeah, I would think so. Um, what we can do is, if you want to really be able to find that button quicker, if we go back to the browser, just see what attributes are on it, or even look for just upload image, like the text in the editor body. It might be an imported component, but I have a feeling it might be right in here. It could be case sensitive too. I think by default
Yeah,
the search
probably.
is case sensitive. It always
I don't
trips
see
me up.
anything like that in
Okay. Well, let's look in let's inspect it. Let's just look at the image upload button there.
right here.
If you, yeah, so like if in the browser itself, not the dev tools, if we
On the
right
editor.
click on, yeah, if sorry, in the actual editor, if we just inspect it.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. In the
So let's just
browser or
Yeah, we keep saying
no,
editor, and then we have two different editors open, right?
yeah. No, but you did it right. So yeah, if you just open up
Yeah.
this div here, that should contain the button in it.
Yep.
So we want, okay, so there. So that's what we kind of want to look for. There, okay, it is upload
yeah,
image.
and this correlates to we had that earlier. Where is that? We had the SVG. Remember we were talking about that.
Yeah,
Where
I
is
think that
that?
might have been in the spinner. While you're doing that, in case the search isn't working great because of the live share connection, I'm just gonna look for image upload in the code, just
I
to
will say
see
it's
if we
really
can.
hard to code when the text is so big. I'm not used to it being so big. I'm like, what's going on?
That's how I always have to do it whenever I do a course. Like LinkedIn, when you do courses for them, you're only allowed to have 20 lines of code. So it has to be really
Yeah,
big.
yeah. It's an adjustment.
Okay, so it really, yeah, it is the image uploader, which is what Christina was saying, I believe.
But let me
So
ask a question. Isn't the spinner up here above the title?
Yeah, so the spinner only happens with the cover image, I think,
And so
right? Like when you
do we
add a
want the
cover
spinner?
image.
Yeah, yeah. Do we want the
yeah,
spinner to be in the same place?
well, what we
I would
want,
say
Like,
it needs
what?
to be in the
Yeah, sorry,
body.
go ahead, Christina.
okay,
Well, the
gotcha.
body
Same
are
component but different location.
yeah, or
Like
maybe take a
I
peek
think
at.
if you look at the little design that Lisa put in, she has it happening in the body.
Oh, I see. That's a good point. Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah, let's take a peek.
Yeah, there it is right
Oh no,
there.
it looks
Okay. I was
Oh, it's the uploading
no,
button. So
no,
instead
no.
of the uploading button
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
upload
so it's the
image,
button.
it's right there.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Okay,
so
so
it's the
that
same idea as the article cover image button.
sure, sure, exactly. So okay. So then we need to find what file is this in right here? Um,
I think it's in the yeah, it's in the but because I did a search for upload image because I know this search is a little wonky with live share or maybe there's something I didn't set up properly. It's in the file
mhm.
called image uploader.
Okay, that's where I am
Um,
right now in VS Code.
yeah, and the interesting thing is if you go down in the render, it actually has an
Okay.
up it has an uploading image in there. So maybe
Yes,
this
it
is like
does. It does.
maybe this is a regression because I feel like when I did this originally it was working. So it's I don't know, it's been months. It's honestly been months though. I think this might have even been done during Hacktoberfest. I can't even remember when I did it. But maybe the issue is it's not showing it doesn't know that it's in the uploading image state. Why don't we let's kind of
Okay.
validate that to
Well,
see.
let me ask one question. So this is the button, upload image. This is this right here, right? So
It
where
should
is
be.
the here we go. It's the icon right there. So that the icon prop is what brings in this little image icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you go back into
So we're
that
in the right
file, if you
spot.
go, yeah. So yeah, if you look
So
up
now my
top, there
thought
should
would
be
be
an
like,
image icon.
yeah, does this exist anywhere else? Uploading image. I would just kind of want to search for all that. Um,
Yeah.
actually, let me go to the top of the file here.
Yeah. Because I feel like maybe this was a regression that never got caught.
So it looks like to me, here's our yeah, case
That's where
uploading
it should be getting
image
set.
is true. Yep. Let me just go through here and see. So upload error, that's false. Image success, false. Yeah. So this is here. Here we go. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
initially
So you
false.
use
It looks
reducible.
like, and then
Yep.
when it goes into the uh, uploading image case in the switch statement, it's true. So
Yeah. So maybe I don't know. My gut feeling's telling me this is like a regression somewhere, or maybe it just wasn't handled. But it doesn't. It like in the reducer here, it
mhm.
what might be interesting is to put a breakpoint in the image upload reducer when we upload the image, and let's maybe see what's going on in there. Because this is
Got
returning
it.
the state to drive the UI. So all the things in Preact or React, it's whenever you're like, why isn't my UI showing up properly? It's almost
Mhm.
always driven by the data, like the props and the state. So if your UI is like if you built it so that it should be showing, it's most likely because a prop or a piece of state is not in the correct state to show that piece of UI. That's my gut
Mhm.
feeling. Um, so instead of putting it in the upload image, why don't we put it just above? Because we're not sure it's like we're kind of right now we don't see the uploading happening. So let's see what the switch gives us, like what the type being passed in is, uh, and then we can kind of
Okay.
maybe go
Okay.
from
Give me.
there. I don't know what you think about that or
Yeah, let's try it. So okay.
so yeah, I guess we can let's try dragging an image into the body again and let's see what happens. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's not stepping to the debugger, unfortunately.
Okay, image uploader.
Let me clean these up here real quick.
Okay,
So I got my image uploader line 30 breakpoint,
okay,
and
okay. You can press play here. This is just kind of internal stuff that we don't need to see. Okay, so it's kind of interesting. So we dropped it, but we didn't end up in the reducer. So
yes, of course. Okay.
so
So
maybe
then
yeah. Go ahead. We've got a bit of
I was
delay
just going
still.
to go over to the editor body, um, and kind of figure out where the like drop is happening, right? And then we can kind of debug from there.
Yeah, we can
What do you
do
think?
that, or we can do that, or we can even because the thing is we want the uploader spinner to show up even if we press the button. Also, like I'm wondering, uh, we should definitely check it out with the drag and drop or the paste image too. But I'm
Hmm.
wondering because we didn't test it yet. I'm wondering if we just click the upload image button, if the spinner kicks in.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it.
Because I'm just kind of having like dev flashbacks now.
Yeah,
I think when
it,
yeah.
it's already going to the
Okay, it's in
switch
there.
here, so we're already in at a good place. So let's see. Yep, there you go.
Ah, okay, okay. So, okay, the plot thickens. All right. So
Yes.
I'm
We
having
just had
some
like a good
dev.
plot twist.
Yeah, it was
So
the
it makes
butler.
sense why that was the image that Lisa used because we already have that happening. We just want it to happen also when we drag and drop or paste too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So yeah. So okay, and then so you can see here it in the case where you do the button, it gives you this piece of text you can copy. That's behaving properly. But I'm
Hmm.
glad we tested that because we do know the spinner works. So it's just we're not handling like we're not saying on on the drop or on the paste. We need to for those not familiar with the use reducer pattern. It's something it, it's a programming pattern, but it's popularized from Redux. But you have
Hmm.
these things called actions. So like typically when you do like a button click or something like that, you would say I want to dispatch an action, and that's what was coming in when we clicked the button. And you get two
Hmm.
things. typically in the use reducer, or if you're working with Redux in the reducer, you always pass in a type into the action that's coming in, and the type would be,
Mhm.
for example, like uploading underscore image, upload error, for
Yep.
example, and the
Yep.
payload would be whatever makes sense given the context of whatever you're doing. Um,
Mhm.
so, but
Yeah, so
this
it
is
could just be
good.
like a type's not getting passed in, right? So the switch doesn't activate because there is no uploading underscore image. That's one way one path we could take.
Yeah, yeah, like we can
Um,
see. Yeah,
so we need to find this uploading image component and kind of this is what I would do. I would inspect that code to see kind of what's there, and then I would use that to reference what's in the actual body, text area body,
okay. Like you mean
right?
see what the upload image click does to
Yeah,
see?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to approach it because I would assume it's dispatching that action probably to get us in that reducer, but let's take a peek for sure.
Yeah, let's find that. Let's see. So
Yeah,
a little confused because there's this. I see.
okay.
Image icon. Never mind. Got it. So let me
Yeah,
find image icon. That's what I was looking for earlier.
okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's just a small preact component.
There we go. Yeah, yeah, right there. Okay,
Okay, so
so there's the
okay,
button on. Is there on? Maybe it's on change here.
yeah, that makes sense. So I can give a bit more context to here,
Hmm.
because Fernando, who's our mobile developer, um, when you're so the dev site, sorry, forum or dev, for example, which is an instance of forum, it is primarily a web-based thing, but we also
Hmm.
have an iOS and Android app for it, and we basically call these not basically we call the I'm so bad at saying basically and simple. I gotta stop doing that. Um, uh, this can also run in the context of a web view in a native phone application. So where you were there in the image uploader there, the button there a second ago, I think
Hmm.
it's if you
Yeah,
go
the
to where the
button, the on
handle
change.
image,
Yeah, the on
yeah,
change led to this function here, which we see that we're in the right space. But hey, let me take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
All right. I'm just
I'll
gonna.
uh
We can
I'll
kind of
do
wrap up
a
what we're doing
quick
right now. Talk about,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
No, feel free to wrap it up for sure if you want to go ahead.
No, I don't. You do it. I was just saying what we can do.
Yeah. So 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 the issue that we're trying to work on here is when you drag and drop an image, or if you also paste it now, it should replace the image upload button with a spinner. Um, so we kind of dug through the code base of the editor in a forum instance just to see how all the pieces are working. And we finally came to the conclusion that after testing clicking the button to upload an image, we see that the spinner is actually there and it does work. Uh, the what seems to be the issue is on the click. So this is when you've picked your file and then it goes to upload it. There's an on change event on the input that the preact component renders. So on the on change of that, which is when the file is selected from your native operating system, it will handle the insertion image upload here, and it's going to call our use reducer by dispatching an action. And that's what you can see here on lines 110 to 113. We're dispatching that action. And so we started off basically with just giving a quick recap here, Seth. Uh,
Sure. Sure.
I thought you might be a 30 seconds logger. So
Oh, it's all good.
we've discovered everything's in place and everything works properly, but we just need to, in the case of pasting an image or dragging and dropping an image, dispatching this action to say uploading image, and then everything else in theory should work out of the box.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
that's kind of where we're at now. Now,
I'm gonna interject just real quick, just because Andrew has more helpful tidbits here. If you want to look at them, Nick, in the
okay,
chat.
yeah,
Um, I think we kind of realized this too. The issues drag and drop rather than the image upload, because we know that that's actually working. Though maybe figuring
yeah,
that out is part of the journey. I think the function process image upload will be helpful, and then they sent a link to where that's at and GitHub if you want to
yeah,
see the actual process image upload function.
yeah. I'm taking a quick peek there. It's not on the screen, but if Seth, if you go back to the handle image, like the on change event you were just on there a second ago,
Yep.
it's here. Okay, you see how, yeah. So it dispatches that action, and then right away it says generate a main image, and that's coming from this helpers file that Andrew shared in the chat. So um, I think in our case, like, let's take a peek for the image drag and drop at least first, or we can look at the paste after as well. But we essentially want to do the same thing. We want to do this dispatch, and
Yeah. Okay. In here, you're saying, or where would that would be an editor body, right?
yeah. So we're in the
Like
yeah the
basically
use
one of
paste
these.
image. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on in there because it should be calling this. Okay, so it's got the Okay, yeah,
Okay.
here. So it's got the handle image pasted, and then it's got the success and the failure callbacks. So we kind of want to tap into there because uh, I think one problem I see is the using the use reducer. We can still use it. It wasn't taken into account, I think, when we put the paste image in the drag and drop because the use reducer is in the I think it's in the image uploader, right? Is that where it was? We had it the first, yeah. So it's in there, but
Yeah.
it's local. It's local to managing the state of the image uploader there, and
Okay. Let's
it's not
see.
exposed. Like if you yeah you see
Yeah.
here like the image uploader has its own state. So
Got it. Yep.
I'm wondering if we could do a couple things. We could maybe lift the reducer out of the image uploader and put it into a parent
Hmm.
component so that it could be shared, and then it's
Sure.
maybe the editor body that's handling this, and then it passes in the state. That could be something. Um,
Hmm.
um, I mean, the other thing you could do is um, I'm trying to see here because we want to see where the image uploader it has to have access to like the paste image hook needs to somehow be able to reference that to let it know, you know what I mean? To
Hmm.
say like,
Hmm.
hey, your state has changed to, uploading image or something.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
that so that's I don't know. It's just a thought, but if we were to pull
Well,
out the yeah
let's look
yeah
at
let's take
this
a
too
peek in
because
there.
this is basically the same thing. So what basically once we figure one of them out, we can get both of them. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so well, can we step through this and see kind of what's happening? Because again, they're both the same, right? Instead of on drop, it'd be on paste. So handle
Yep.
image drop, and then it has a success and a failure. Can we kind of step through these and see kind of would that help at all? Would that be a distraction?
Well, I I I think as we
Like
saw
maybe not for the
the
stream, but for me, if I was coding, I'd want to know a little bit, dive a little bit
yeah, yeah.
deeper into what's happening. Obviously, the stream we don't have may not have time to get uh, a stronghold on everything that's happening, but that's something that I would my thought process is,
Yeah, yeah.
what's actually happening in this.
Yeah,
Well, here,
for sure.
let's
Um,
Let's
think
take a
for a
peek at
minute.
it.
We have about like 15 more minutes on the stream before we kind of usually wrap up. what I think you should kind of go through this of like we usually encourage with the stream, like go through like your process, like what would you be doing if you were like in here and contributing. So if you want to start going through one of
Yeah.
them, I don't see that as like a bad thing. Start going through one, and if we don't get to everything, that's okay. This is the stuff you'll be doing kind of like on the side, and that's cool. I think people in the stream kind of recognize that, but I say totally go for
Yeah.
whatever you feel comfortable and think you should be doing.
Cool.
Yeah. And
Well,
the
I don't have a full grasp on.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying, Nick, about how this is local to the image uploader. And before I even lifted it up to a global, I would want to just get it working locally in another file, right? And then have it to then lift it up, because it would be more confusing, I think, to lift it and try to pass it back down, right? So first I would try to just like mimic what's happening in where we're trying to fix it. And then I would make a mental note or an issue. Hey, this is in 4 different places. Let's lift it up and make it global, kind of thing. So
yeah, I,
so
yeah, let's go ahead with that.
maybe Nick, yeah, maybe Nick, you can we can figure out what, like, I need to know exact, like, I get what's happening in terms of um how it's you know, the 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 action and the type and stuff. I'm just trying to figure out exactly like where, like, I'm kind of circling around it, but I don't have a pinpoint of where exactly I need to focus on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um
No, that's okay. Um,
and
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
and so we know that this component here, local to that component, is this right here, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
then
the
my next thing would be, okay, where the editor body would be the place where we need to go to basically repeat this, right?
yeah. There's because so that would be in the parent component, which I think might make sense. Like, we still gotta figure some things out. But I think even if we lift it, I think one of the issues we're gonna have, regardless of copying it, is right now the image uploader does not receive any props. It's like if you look at line 68, it's a stateful
Yeah.
component. It has its own local state,
Hmm.
but it doesn't receive any props. And I I think if we lift it up, we're gonna have to pass in a prop to the image uploader to say like, hey, I'm uploading, or
Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
I'm not uploading. Because otherwise there won't be any other way to know. Because if we go down in this component, um, I'm just trying to see because there's other pieces of state being set as well. So
Yeah. So we're looking for specifically, I guess this one right here, uploading image. So
yeah,
yeah, so there, that's kind of destructuring it from the state.
and there,
Um,
yeah, and
yeah. What
then
else? What were we gonna say?
well, because if the button itself, like we handle like all those other properties in the state, like if there's an error and so on, because that's all local right now. Uh, I'm almost even wondering if most of that state will need to be passed in as props instead.
Yeah.
Because like I mean we can do it piecemeal in the sense that like let's get the spinner working. So you could just start off with maybe passing in a prop that says uploading image. So you don't need to change anything else in this component except for probably take out the uh, uploading image piece of state there and from the reducer, and then it would be the parent component that you would still like. We would probably also have to, if we're using the reducer still. You see how the hook on line 69, it returns the current state, which is what the reducer returns you, but it also has a dispatch,
Hmm.
which is the function to say I want to go update some state. We would probably,
Sure.
I think we would, if we lifted it out, we would need to pass in the dispatch as a prop as well to say like, because that's a function reference to say just call something and it'll go in the reducer. And then I think
Hmm.
it should be able to handle, because like if you go down in this component, it calls dispatch in a few places. So like
Yes. Right here.
because in the context of the image uploader, it's the button in this case. So it's, that's why we're dispatching an action when we click on the button. So I think we would probably need to have the dispatch exposed as a prop too, potentially. Just at
Makes
least
sense.
in terms of a first iteration, at least to see how we can have it be used in both places. There could be a better approach, but I kind of like to iterate on it, like, hey, get it working,
Yeah,
then like figure it out, and then maybe have some aha moments to say like, oh, you know what, maybe we can clean this up a bit more. So
exactly. Yeah, it makes it less error prone. Just kind of step through it and know that you're going to iterate to where it's better.
yeah,
Um, let's
so
see.
what, like one thing we can do, um, we can literally pull that hook out completely. Like just as an exercise at least, let's let's pull out lines 69 to 75, so that whole reducer chunk of code. Let's put that in the editor body. You can, yeah, comment it out for now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cut it out. Just put it somewhere in the
Yep.
editor body. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
it
put it
would be,
on.
I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it would just be. I don't know. I'll put it up top. We'll say.
Yeah, that's good. We'll need to do the import of the use reducer.
Yep. Yep. Let me double check that.
You can probably just comment it out here and copy it over.
Yep.
So let's put that in. And I think we'll do this and then we'll probably wrap up, but we'll definitely continue after, obviously. Like I was mentioning, we can continue
Mm-hmm.
offline. We can definitely sync up again too. But
Yep.
let's try and get the current thing working with the reducer pulled out into the parent component. So, um, so the other things we need, so it's complaining, the linter is saying image uploader reducer doesn't exist, which makes sense because we're going to need to pull that out of the image uploader.
Yep.
And
Yep. Let me
so
find that.
yeah, so there we go. And this is also kind of a
And
neat
I'll.
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll just say I'll put this. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, wrong file. Okay, I'll put it right above the editor body just for now.
Yeah, we can reorganize it after. That's in there. So now if we go to where the image upload reducer is, yeah, line 88
Yeah,
there.
we're good there. And
So
then these just aren't being called, so we're fine here. Once we start working with it, that should
yeah,
disappear.
yeah. So we have
And then we want
state and
to.
dispatch.
Yeah, yeah. So following the pattern here, I would do something like this, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we could copy
Because if we
that.
structure that, so I'll just kind of do it right below here for now.
Yeah.
And
And
okay, and then we can maybe just work with the first one to make it easier.
well, I think because we want to make the thing currently behave like it does, so like the error messages and everything. So
Okay,
let's keep
got it.
everything, but I would copy the squiggly brackets and all the properties there, and let's try passing these in as props now. Like before in the image uploader, it was local state,
Mm-hmm.
component state, but let's try and passing in all of those into the image uploader, which should be in the editor body somewhere. If you look for
Yep.
less than image upload,
Oh, it was. Yeah, it's not in here. Where is it? It's.
which file is it
Oh, I can't.
referenced in?
Yeah, I forget. Let me see. Yeah, because if it's not an editor body, that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do right now,
Uh,
right? Which is
yeah,
pass it down.
yeah. So where is the image uploader called again? Is it in our?
Do a quick search on your end because the search, on mine is not behaving. But
Yeah.
do a quick search and I'll navigate to the file.
Okay, 2 seconds here.
I guess we could also do. Isn't there a way to like kind of get our? Go ahead.
No, I'm laughing because it's not. Uh, I don't think it is. The image uploader is related to the V1 editor. It's not that. Where is it? Hold on a sec, because I see you're in there. Because the image uploader is only referenced in the toolbar, and that's not the thing we were looking at before. It was if we go back to, maybe we were debugging, maybe we're looking at the wrong thing. Uh, can you go back to, because I'm just curious. Let's click the upload image button again. I mean, it should be this file, but I'm just trying to remember why. Oh, it's the whole thing. Okay, that's okay. So it's the
Is
toolbar
it?
we need to pass the props into. We need to do it. So it's good. But you see how the toolbar has a version? We need to pass in those other
Yeah.
other
Let
props.
me go. Let me go back to the toolbar real quick. Let's go back to the toolbar.
Did
Well.
you see what Andrew said, Nick?
Yeah, but the button is a oh yeah. Toolbar changes in
I was right.
viewing, but the
The
button.
button.
Yeah. But where I think we got lot I think we got lost in the wrong one. If we do the go back to the browser for a sec, because this upload image, I want to. It's if we it's that's what we were debugging in before, right? Because we're in the V2
Mm-hmm.
editor, so I think if we inspect
Yep.
this
So
again, yeah, upload image. No, I
yeah,
think
let's
it's
just
the
find out
right
because
file.
we're trying to just pass down these things to that component. So
Yeah,
let's
just
think here.
just undo the changes in here. Like just do a Command Z to undo all the uncommented stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and let's just go back to the editor body, and then I think we're probably gonna have to wrap up in a couple minutes.
Sure.
Just because I have a hard stop, I have a meeting, but it doesn't always
Sure.
happen. Um, but um, but before we do that, like, I think what might be good is why don't we recap, and we're definitely going to continue on this. What
Yeah.
kind of just so we can kind of recap for the folks on the stream, kind of what we did and where we're at currently and what we're going to tackle next. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
then we can definitely do a follow up, and I think it would make for a great blog post on Dev. Yep, dropping names
Mhm.
there. Um, but yeah, let's just do a quick recap of kind of what we discovered and kind of where we're going with it, and then you and me, we can definitely connect after. Um,
Yeah. So I'll do a quick recap. So we followed the issue. The spinner exists. It works on part of the editor, but it doesn't work in the body. We want to be able. It works actually in the upload image button, but it doesn't work in the paste in the body or the drag and drop. And so we kind of traced it to where we thought we needed to be. There is that version 1, version 2 thing that's happening, which I'm sure we're not the only ones that have experienced that,
yeah,
just for the nature of what that is, right? And so that's good to reveal that, I think, to then make
Mhm.
awareness of it and then figure out why are there two versions and do y'all kind of move into just version 2. And
yeah,
so now we were started to experiment with the basically action, the dispatching and the actions in the state that were local to the upload image button, and we're trying to like lift that up and then pass that down as a test to see if can we also pass it down to another place where it needs to be. Does that sound right?
yeah. And I know it's a bit of an adventure kind of going through all this, but uh, I I know Andrew said it the toolbar is for the V1, but I actually have a feeling it's for both because let's just do
Well,
one
he
more thing and
mentions
that
that it's for both. So the V1 it just changes. I think, and Andrew can correct me if I'm wrong because I've gone to the version 1 and version 2 since you all have been doing this. I think it just changes where it's at because the toolbar is
okay.
up top in version 1, and it's down below that whole like cover image thing and everything in version
Oh,
2.
yeah,
So I
you're
think
right.
that's
Yeah,
it. And that
yeah,
it's actually the button, like it's the
yeah,
upload button because it
yeah.
just changes where it's at.
Okay. So
Yeah, and
so
we
I
can
think
see
we're
we,
in a
we
good
can we
spot.
can see that it's
Yeah.
only it's yeah, so it's present. It's just when it's version 1, it's what you just said basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
So
it's yeah.
where you see the add cover image, that's where the upload button is on version 1. They
cool,
don't
cool.
Got
have
it.
the add cover image button with that.
Yeah. So all that to
So
say,
then we
Seth,
would pass it to the toolbar.
yeah, yeah. So all that to say, we were on the right track. Putting in the editor body, the use reducer, and at least trying that out is the right approach. We'll need to pass all that current local state that was in the image uploader as props to the
Mhm.
toolbar, and then the toolbar will have to pass that to the image uploader. It's a little slight prop drilling, like we're going down a couple levels, but
Yeah.
um, then I
Well,
think
wouldn't
we're golden.
would you destructure first and pass all of those down, or just pass the state down then destructure?
Uh, I would probably pass them in as props, like don't pass in an actual like the whole state object itself as a prop, because they really are separate props that we want to treat them like. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and within the component, it's a function component, so they would be coming in as kind of like named parameters. So all that says, I think we're on the right track. We'll definitely continue this after the stream at some point. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. We did a lot of digging.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had some
And we
laughs.
just got rated by Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, at Shell Codes and everyone who is here. We're wrapping up, but we appreciate you all coming in.
Yeah, yeah. So you got a few folks checking out what you're doing right now, Seth. Yeah. So yeah, just want to say thanks so much for coming on the stream today, Seth. I had a lot of fun. We had some good times. Nobody cried, so that's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. That's not what I mean. I'm just mean like we weren't crying over the code. Cool.
Well, it's like as someone working on the issue, like we're just getting warmed up, right? We're just now like, okay, now we found it. Now let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think we're in a good place, and that's a good place to kind of call it. And yeah, thanks again. I'll get in touch with you after the stream. Uh,
Yep.
Next week we're gonna be back with a walkthrough Wednesday. We're
With
with
Marie.
yeah, Marie Mosley from CodePen. So check out next week's walkthrough Wednesday. That'll be at 5 p.m. UTC on the dev stream. And we will see you folks next week. Thanks for coming out, everybody.